Hey, Skol Vikings faithful. What's up, Purple Pride Warriors? Can you believe it? We just got our hearts ripped out in Seattle 26-0, a total demolition by those Seahawks, and our rookie QB Max Brosmer throwing 4 picks in his first start. It's like the football gods decided to test our loyalty this season. But damn, if this doesn't fire me up to talk it through with you all. Stick around as we dive deep into this nightmare, stat by stat, because as die-hard Vikings fans, we don't quit, we analyze, we rage, we rebuild. Who's with me? Let's unpack this mess from Vikings news and see if there's a silver lining buried in the rubble. You ready for the ugliest ride of 2025? The Vikings hit absolute rock bottom yesterday. Folks, making his NFL debut start, undrafted rookie Max Brosmer stepped in for the concussed J.J. McCarthy. And it was like watching a freshman try to quarterback a Super Bowl. 4 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, and a passer rating of just 32.8. That's not a game, that's a horror show. The Seahawks defense, led by beasts like Ernest Jones with that brutal 86-yard pick-six, suffocated us completely, sacking Brosmer 4 times and turning every drive into a turnover fest. We've lost 4 straight now, averaging a pathetic 10.5 points in that skid, and this shutout? First one since 2007, our first goose egg in 18 years. It's brutal, but hey, Vikings News is calling it our wake-up call. What do you think, fam? Is this the bottom, or do we have further to fall? Remember how this season kicked off with fireworks? High hopes, Jefferson lighting it up, a defense that could bend but not break. But now, 2 straight games without a single touchdown, and we're staring down the barrel of history we never wanted. Brosmer went 19 for 30 for a measly 126 yards, no scores, and those picks were backbreakers. One right into Jones' hands on a desperation underhand flip that turned a potential lead into a 10-0 hole. Our O-line, banged up as it is, couldn't give him a clean pocket, but come on, those decisions? Oof. As a fan who's bled purple since the 90s, this hurts, but it's fuel. Drop a comment. Would you stick with Brosmer next week? Or beg for a vet? Let's keep the convo going while we break down the shocking stats that make this loss sting even more. First up in this parade of pain, 6 quarters without a point. Yeah, you heard that right. The Vikings offense has been drier than the Sahara for the last 6 quarters of football. It started last week in that 23-6 snoozer at Lambeau, where we couldn't muster anything after halftime against those Packers, and yesterday? Zilch, nada, a full-game shutout that left us punching air. The Seahawks D-line, with Leonard Williams and Derek Hall feasting, sacks galore, made sure every snap was a struggle. Brosmer's best moment? A 29-yard dart to TJ Hawkinson, but even that got erased by fumbles and flags. 6 quarters, folks, that's back to 1991 levels of futility, last time it happened under Wade Wilson. History's knocking, and not in a good way. What scares you more? The offense or the ghosts of seasons past? Hit me in the comments. Vikings news fans, let's hear your hot takes. Picture this. We're in the second quarter, down 3-0, and Dallas Turner rips the ball from Sam Darnold. Our ex-QB now torching us. For a strip sack recovery at the Seattle 22. Prime scoring territory. But Brosmer, under pressure, tries this wild underhand flip to escape a sack. And boom, Ernest Jones swipes it for an 86-yard pick-six. From potential 7-3 lead to 10-0 deficit in seconds. That's the kind of gut punch that echoes through Lumen Field's rafters, with Seahawk fans roaring like it's the playoffs. Our guys fought back with heart. Brian Flores D held them to field goals early, but offensively it was panic mode from there. Fumbles on checkdowns to Aaron Jones, high throws intercepted by Kobe Bryant. It's like the ball was allergic to our hands. As a lifelong Vikings diehard, I've seen collapses, but this? It's Shakespearean tragedy. Who's the villain here, the play calling or the pressure? Sound off below. And just when you thought it couldn't compound, enter the third quarter. Another push into Seattle turf. Brosmer eyes Jalen Naylor on a deep shot, but the pass sails high, picked off by Bryant, sealing our scoreless fate through 3 frames. We've got stars like Addison and Hawkinson begging for targets, but the ball's finding blue jerseys instead. This isn't just a loss. It's a statement from Seattle's top 7D under Mike McDonald, who shut us out like it was 2015 all over again for them. For us, it's a reminder that promise turns to peril fast in the NFL. But hey, Purple Nation, we've risen from worse. Think 1991, when 6 quarters became 7, and we still clawed back. Teaser. Next week, history's on the line again. Would you take a miracle drive right now if you could? Let's dream it up in the replies. Shifting gears to the man who carries our offense. Justin Jefferson. Oh man, Skull fam, this one's a dagger to the soul. In a game where we needed his magic most, JJ caught just 2 passes, for a grand total of 4 yards. The first, a loss of 4 on a screen that went nowhere, swallowed by Seattle's front 7. The second, an 8-yard grab on 3rd and eternity, but it wasn't enough to spark anything. 4 yards. That's the lowest output of his Hall of Fame trajectory, beating his prior low of 14 against the Lions back in 22. Brosmer couldn't find him clean. Coverage was sticky, pressure was instant, and JJ's frustration boiled over post-game, skipping the media scrum. As a fan who's watched him dance for 1,000-yard seasons, seeing our alpha limited like this is criminal. Vikings news is buzzing. Is it QB woes or scheme sabotage? What's your theory, Vikings faithful? Jefferson's been in a 7-game drought without cracking 100 yards receiving, the longest of his career, and it's killing our rhythm. Remember week 1 when he was shredding secondaries left and right? Now, with Brosmer's arm not syncing up, JJ's reduced to decoy duty while Addison and Naylor fight for scraps. That second catch, fighting for every inch on 3rd and long, showed his grit, but man, the yards after catch were MIA against Seattle's tacklers. This stretch feels like a curse, for INTs flying elsewhere, O-line crumbling, but Jefferson's the constant we build around. He's got 1,200-plus yards this year already, elite as ever, yet these games expose our depth issues. Heartbreaking, right? If you could hand JJ one perfect throw from Brosmer, where's it going? Deep post? Corner fade? Paint me the picture in the comments. Zoom out, and this Jefferson saga ties into our bigger offensive apocalypse. 7 games, number 100-yard bombs from our superstar. That's uncharted territory for a guy who's redefined WR1 standards. Yesterday's 4 yards weren't just low. They were symbolic of a unit that's forgotten how to explode. Seahawks jammed the box, dared us to pass short, and we couldn't counter. But JJ's fire? Undimmed, he's tweeting cryptic horns emojis already, hinting at bounce-back mode. As your passionate Vikings voice, I believe in him like I believe in that 98 D-line. We've got to scheme him open next week, or this drought becomes a desert. Who's got faith in a JJ eruption against the Lions? Rally with me. Likes if you're Team Jefferson forever. Now, let's zero in on Brosmer's futility, because if yesterday's debut was an audition, he bombed harder than a fourth-quarter Hail Mary. 19 completions on 30 tries for 126 yards, 0 TDs, 4 picks, and that Godoffel 32.8 passer rating. Worse than McCarthy's 34.2 flop last week. In the Kevin O'Connell era, we've only had one sub-35 rating game before this with Jaren Hall in 23, but now, back-to-back disasters, echoing that grim 1991 Wade Wilson stretch. Brosmer, the UDFA gem from our own backyard at Minnesota, showed flashes, like that seam shot to Hawkinson, but the picks? Catastrophic. One to Jones on the underhand disaster, another high to Naylor, a red zone overthrow to Addison. It was turnover bingo. Vikings news headlines scream, rookie nightmare. And as a fan, I'm torn. Cut him slack or call for changes? Break it down play by play, and Brosmer's inexperience screamed loudest in crunch time. Early on, he threaded a few checkdowns to Jones, but when Seattle blitzed, bam, that pick six flipped the script from hopeful to hopeless. His adjusted yards per attempt? A league-worst -1.8 among 377 QB starts this year, factoring in those killer INTs and no scores. That's not debut jitters. That's decision-making under fire gone wrong. The kid's prepared, obsessive film guy per O'Connell, but the NFL's a meat grinder, and our line gave him zero mercy. Fumbles piled on, like Aaron Jones' lost ball after a completion, turning positives to pain. Still, credit the D for 4 sacks and holding Seattle scoreless offensively till late. Brosmer's post-game? Head down but hungry. What would you tell him, Skull Squad? Next play or study more? This Brosmer blues isn't isolated. It's the soundtrack to our QB carousel spinning out of control. Back-to-back sub-35 ratings? First since '91, when Wilson weathered storms we couldn't dream of today. Brosmer's arm talent flickered. That 29-yarder to Hawkinson had zip, but reads were off, footwork panicked. Advanced metrics roast him. Minus 1.8 AY/A means every dropback hurt us more than helped. Yet, as a diehard, I see potential, the Gopher kid who set completion records now humbled in purple. O'Connell's got faith, calling him most prepared. But reality bit hard. Teaser. With McCarthy maybe back, does Brosmer get another shot? Or trade bait? Vikings news polls are lit, vote in comments. Bench or believe? Diving deeper into the shutout shame, that 26-0 final felt like eternity in hell for us fans glued to the screen. Seattle's top 7 Savage under McDonald didn't just win, they dominated, with 5 takeaways including that Woolen INT fumbled away on return. Shout-out Naylor for the hit. Brosmer's 4th pick, aimed at Addison in the red zone, could have been 6 but became nothing. Turned over on downs after recovery. Our total yards? A pitiful 162, while Seattle milked field goals and that pick 6 to pad it. First shutout since '07, ending a 294-game scoring streak. Ouch. But our D battled. Turner's strip sacks on Darnold, Redmond's recovery, holding no offensive TDs till garbage time. Flores unit is our lifeline, folks. As a Vikings lifer, this imbalance kills me. Offense in freefall, D grinding. Who's your unsung hero from yesterday? Turner? Redmond? Tag him below. Relive the halftime horror. Trailing 13-0 with 3 first downs total, we punted our first 4 drives before that Turner gift-wrapped a chance. Brosmer's response? More gifts back. Interceptions raining like confetti at a funeral. Jason Myers' 56-yarder capped Seattle's first-half clinic, and our guys looked shell-shocked, O-line leaking like a sieve. Williams demolished Brosmer for a 9-yard sack. Hall added another. 4 total, pressure that turned poise to panic. Yet, in the purple haze, I see fight. No quit, even turning over on downs at midfield late. This shutout isn't just stats. It's a scar. First in 18 years, whispering rebuild louder than ever. Vikings news is flooded with fan rants. Join the fray. Blame coaching or curse the injury bug. And the aftermath? We're 4-8 4-game skid owners, averaging 10.5 PPG in defeat, worse than a high school JV squad. That 1991 echo looms. Last 6-quarter drought then, and now? Teetering on 7 if we don't score next week. History hates us, but we hate losing more. Brosmer's line, 126 yards. 4 picks. Pairs with McCarthy's woes for a QB crisis O'Connell never scripted. Still, Jefferson's quiet fire, Addison's routes, Jones' runs. Threads of hope. As your hyped-up host, I'm not waving the white flag. We're Vikings, born for battles, pumped for the turnaround, or bracing for more pain. Spill it in the comments, Purple Army. Wrapping this offensive obituary, let's not forget the bigger picture. A season from promise to purgatory, with stats like these screaming for surgery. 2 TD-less games straight, 6 scoreless quarters. It's not a slump, it's systemic. Brosmer's debut amplified it. But the roots? QB instability, line injuries, play-calling hesitancy. Seattle exploited every crack, from Jones' pick-6 to Bryant's third-quarter theft, turning our 22-yard field position into their 10-point swing. Our D, though? For sacks, limiting Darnold to dinks, they're why we're not 0-26 worse. Vikings news experts say it's fixable. Protect better, read faster, unleash JJ. As a fan who's tailgate through blizzards, I know resilience is our DNA. What's the one tweak you'd make tomorrow? New OC? QB coach? Your call. These numbers aren't just cold facts. They're the heartbeat of our heartbreak, painting a canvas of collapse that's tough to stomach. From Jefferson's 4-yard whisper to Brosmer's minus 1.8 AY/a nightmare, every digit drips with what if. What if that underhand flip connects? What if Hawkinson's 29-yarder leads to pay dirt? Instead, we got history. First shutout since '07, Longest JJ drought ever. Back-to-back QB disasters unseen since '91. Seattle's 26 points came easy, field goals, returns, a late TD, while we clawed for 162 yards total. But in the locker room echoes, I hear O'Connell's calm, "We'll respond. Damn right we will." Fans, this is our story, raw, real, relentless. Feeling the rage? Channel it. Like if you're still Skol, share if your recruiting fellow suffers. Stats aside, this loss lingers like a bad hangover, but it's the spark we need. For straight LS, 4-8 record, playoff dreams on life support, yet our core shines. Flores D with 121 return yards forced? No, wait, that's Seattle's bounty off us. Our takeaways? Minimal, but Turner's strips were gold. Brosmer's futility, 32.8 rating, worst in era, mirrors a unit adrift, but youth means growth. Jefferson's low, an anomaly in a 1,200-yard year. Vikings news whispers of bounce back. McCarthy's return? Trade rumors? Is buzzworthy. As we close this rant, remember we've been here before 98-09 and roared back. Who's believing in redemption arc? Sound the horns in comments. Alright, Skol Vikings Nation, we've dissected the disaster, stat by gut-wrenching stat. From 6 barren quarters to Jefferson's 4-yard fiasco, Brosmer's 4-pick fiasco, and that 18-year shutout drought crashing our party. This 26-0 beatdown in Seattle? It's the ugly truth of a season gone sideways. But as your fired-up Vikings news guide, I'm here yelling, we endure. We've lost 4 straight, hit rock bottom, but purple blood runs deep. Next week, we fight for history's sake. No 7-quarter curse on our watch. What's your bold prediction for the rebound? McCarthy magic? JJ explosion? Drop it below. Smash that like if you're raging with me. Subscribe for every Vikings update to keep the fire lit. And share this with your tailgate crew. Let's turn pain into power. Skol Vikings, horns up always. Whoa, hold up. Quick Vikings news alert from my deep dive. Confirmed, this shutout ends our 294-game scoring streak. Longest in NFL lore, and Brosmer's 4 INTs tie for worst rookie debut since 2010. No fakes here, all real heartbreak. But with McCarthy eyeing a return, hope flickers. Incorporated fresh deets like Turner's sacks and that fumbled return. Keeps us ahead of the curve. Now back to rallying. Who's ready to own Week 14?